Fragrances transport us to a moment in time with beautiful memories. Now, without a cohesive story though, that translates the fragrance and the bottle and connects them, even if the fragrance inside is completely amazing, people would not purchase it. It is therefore absolutely important that there is a connection between the bottle and the fragrance. Like I said, people wouldn't buy it. So I thought in this video, I'll go over some fragrances that may have some kitschy bottles, but some really good juice inside. And you never know. Sometimes it looks kitschy, and sometimes it will surprise you. Let's do it. Now, there is a huge or a very long history of fragrance bottles. But I'll leave that kind of conversation to the true experts like Roja Dove. Roja Dove did a special for the UK Fragrance Foundation. I believe it was called Fragrance Through the Decades, where he kind of goes from very early on, and he has some actually really amazing collectible bottles and fragrances that he'll show in this almost 2-hour long video. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll leave it in the description for you. You can watch it there. Since this subject could literally be hours and hours in a series of videos, I will keep it pretty brief for this video right here. What I can tell you is that these are in my collection. They're from recent years, so there's no classics in here, and I still wear them occasionally. So these are fragrances that you could totally pull off today, and they're still available to buy today. So I don't think I have any in here that you cannot buy today. Some of them might be a little bit harder to find, but you can still purchase every single one of them. Personally, I find it very unfortunate that the fragrance designers, I'm not really sure what you call a person that creates fragrances, I guess they're architects and designers in a way, they don't really get any recognition. There are some that are a little bit more famous than others, but in general, we don't know who designed these fragrances. And maybe that's the way they want it. They don't want to be known. But here are some names anyway of some, pretty successful fragrance bottle designers. Let's see, we have Thierry Bauschmakov, Philipp Stack, and René Lalique. And some of the manufacturers, I don't know if you're interested, are Stölze Glass, you have Fluorescence, Kaufmann, and of course Lalique is in there as well. So let's stay with Lalique for a minute. The newest one that I got from Lalique, there'll be more in here in just a minute. The newest one I got from Lalique is Lalique White in Black. Now this one is a play on the original Lalique White. Now you're like, okay, it's not really that special of a bottle. Well, this one is, it's cool. I like it. It really feels nice in your hand. It's not too much, too unique or crazy or anything. But this one right here, what they've done is they added in the box, this is a matte finish, and they added in the box, most of you probably didn't even realize this, but the inside of the box, if you look, there is a white crayon. See that right there? And you can use the crayon to write anything you want onto the bottle, and it comes right back off. So you could write on the bottle, and you could write it on there, mix your hearts on it, or whatever you love. Yeah, and it comes right back off as you wipe over it. So that's a unique marketing tool. Most of you guys probably didn't even realize it, and probably, if you have it, probably threw it away. But I'm pretty sure that any sort of white or even red or any crayon would probably work on this bottle. It's a marketing tool. I'm not really sure if it actually helped them sell this. The fragrance inside here will remind you, at least it reminds me, a lot of Leighton by Parfums de Marly. I think I have it over here. For me, this is also kind of a little bit of a unique bottle because the horses, the equestrian horses on here, they're actually, what is that called? What is that called? It's called Italio, I think that's what it's called, versus a relief that is cut out or just flush. So these two fragrances do smell a little bit alike. Of course, here you have a little bit more spice in here, but it does remind me of Leighton by Parfums de Marly. But as we were talking about, as far as, unique bottles, and we're still with Lalique, let's look at a couple of other ones that I think are really fascinating from Lalique. Lalique Equus, which is this one right here. And if you look, if you can see here, let me see if I can show you that. See, this is actually a relief. It is cut out of the glass. And of course, Lalique is a glass manufacturer, so they have all the tools and stuff to make that work. And this is actually backwards. So on the shelf, you would have it this way, and it has a beautiful horse sort of shining through it. It's actually wonderfully done. This is a really great fragrance on the inside. It reminds me kind of a luxurious dry sauna. There is some sequoia wood and some rosewood in this one. It definitely smells like a luxurious sauna. Now, another one that is one of my absolute favorites is also a relief, and it's a great bottle, I think, is Lalique pour Homme. And it's the same thing. It's a relief. And this one was a horse. So Lalique pour Homme 1997 got a lion on here. And this is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. This one is often compared to, just like I guess the other Lalique fragrance was compared to a more expensive fragrance. This one is often compared to a really expensive fragrance. And it is from Creed, the House of Creed. And it is Bois de Portugal. So Bois de Portugal is definitely much more spicy, not only in fragrance, also in price. Another cool bottle with a top-notch gentleman scent is one by Pennhaligon, created by Alberto Morillas. This one is a top-notch wood and brandy fragrance with a barbershop sort of scent. It's soft, it is creamy, it's beautiful, and look at this gorgeous buck on here. Now, unfortunately, this one will set you back $1 or $2. The whole Portraits line actually features beautiful bottles with different animals on top. Quite wonderful. I hope to have them all soon. But like I said, it will set you back $1 or $2. But it's just an amazing presentation of a fragrance. And it's very elegant, suits beautifully to the fragrance inside. I really like it when a fragrance and the bottle are very cohesive with one another. I have a couple of fragrances from the designer called John Varvatos. He used to work for Ralph Lauren. It's sort of an upscale, kind of rock and rolly, kind of expensive clothing line. I really like their clothes. It's fun to wear. And one of their fragrances, or 3 of them I have in front of me, is I have the oud version, which is this one right here. And at first you're like, okay, it looks kind of interesting. But what this is actually supposed to be, it's like a microphone like they used to have when they were, doing their soirees. See how that's a microphone? So that's actually pretty cool. And the scent lends itself to more of a wintertime wear or fall wear. It's a beginner oud. It's very spicy and it's not very dirty at all. So I think anybody could pretty much wear that if you like heavier scents. Another one that is really quite amazing as far as the bottle is concerned with the notes inside is John Varvatos, the Dark Rebel. Now they're becoming a little bit harder to find now. You used to find them really well at some, discounters and stuff like that. But you have to keep your eyes peeled for them nowadays. You can still get them though, and they're usually a pretty good price. I love sort of the silver sigil on top, and then the black bottle, wrapped in some faux leather. It's actually plastic, but it's just wrapped. And it actually looks exactly like you would imagine the fragrance to be. It is very dark. It is very smoky. It has a good amount of leather to it. It's something you would wear dressed all in black with your, leather jacket, perhaps on a bike. There's a lighter version of this one, which is called Dark Rebel Rider. And this one it smells like the Dark Rebel, but it's a little bit more floral, a little bit more of a lighter version to it. It's just, not quite as deep and incensey as this one. And this one is wrapped. It's the same black bottle on the inside, but it's wrapped. I'm not sure if this opens. Yeah, it does. It's the same black bottle on the inside, but it is wrapped in a leather sleeve. And it fits it because this one is a little bit more gentle looking, while this one looks kind of rugged. It's beautiful. I love these 2 fragrances. If you ever get a hold of these, if you like them a little bit darker, a little bit smokier, Dark Rebel and Dark Rebel Rider are really nice for the cooler sort of days when you feel like a little bit rock and roll. And like I said earlier, sometimes you get something that looks kitschy, but it surprises you. So let's stay dark for a minute. The German designer Philipp Plein is known for his sort of outrageous sort of designs. And he has a fragrance called No Limits limits spelled with, the dollar sign on the end. And I believe there's $1 trillion on here, like a credit card. It's sort of got a skull on it, and it's plasticky. And you would first imagine that this one is like, I'm not getting that. But it actually surprised me. The fragrance itself is really not bad at all. So what you'll have in this one, first of all, it's created by Alberto Morillas. And then you're going to have some dark chocolate, bourbon vanilla. There's some leather and some woody notes. The fragrance itself, it's actually quite nice. Actually, I'm going to give this one a spray real quick, because I do enjoy this one, believe it or not. And it has just sort of a quality. It's a unique scent. Yeah, it's not something that, it's not mainstream, but you could totally wear this. It is smoky, it is leathery, and there's a softness to this one that you wouldn't expect from something. It does not smell cheap at all, even though it's a little bit on the kitschy side. However, it is good projecting, and it will last you all day. If you can get over the kitschy aspects of it, it's actually a really good fragrance, and that's Philipp Plein, No Limits. This is a great time for you to leave a like if you're getting anything out of this at all, if you're having fun, watching this. I hope you are. If you are, maybe even, hit the like, subscribe, that sort of thing. I would love to have you on board. You can go ahead and do that. It is absolutely 100% free. And if you hit all the little, the bell and all that sort of stuff, it will notify you of my future videos when I post them. I want to thank you in advance, and let's move right on to our next fragrance. If you take away 6 zeros from this one, because it's $1 trillion. Take away 6 zeros and you will have Paco Rabanne's 2008 1 million. This is in the style of a golden nugget. Don't you wish it was real? And it has really lots of flankers. People really love it. It's kind of a sweet fragrance, sweet and very youthful. My personal favorite one is the Privé. Yeah, it's also in a nugget style, although the color is a little bit different. It's on the browner side. This one's very popular, sweeter. I don't wear this one too much nowadays. However, I do like wearing the Privé. It is my favorite one out of the line. I did recently smell the newest one. I did not buy those since I have 4 or 5 of these. I don't really need another one. Also, Invictus, the one that comes in a trophy. I don't have any of those at all either. It's not really my line of fragrances. It's a little bit too sweet for me. But let me know in the Invictus which one is your favorite one out of the trophy ones. Maybe I'll pick up one. The Privé, unfortunately, is discontinued, so you have to pay a little bit more for it. You can still find it every now and then if you look online, but it's gonna be a little bit more if you do find one. It is really nice though. Some designers or some houses go the opposite way versus, instead of going completely sort of in a, almost kitschy kind of way or kitschy kind of way, they go less is more. This particular house right here, Replica, or the House of Margiela, or Maison Margiela, Replica, what they have done is they have gone completely a little bit more away from the kitschiness. This one is sort of in a style of an apothecary fragrance bottle. It doesn't come with a top at all. It is open. It feels like cotton on the front of it. It is printed on it, so it looks almost kind of simple, almost like you've done it yourself, perhaps, almost. This one right here is By the Fireplace, and it smells exactly like you would think. It's really a wonderful fragrance. Some other ones that I like from Replica is I love Coffee Break. It's a really wonderful one on Sunday mornings. I have Autumn Vibes, smells exactly like if you were to walk in a sort of wet, leafy autumn day and it's a little cooler outside. Smells beautiful like that. By the Fireplace, let's see, I have a couple of other ones. I have the Barbershop, smells like an authentic old-timey barbershop. Really wonderful. It's a beautiful fragrance for the fall and winter, By the Fireplace. But you see how the bottle is just kind of simple, but it still has a little bit something. It does not look inexpensive. And I think you can get these for around a little bit over $100 nowadays. They sell these at Sephora and stuff like that. Quite nice. Where some designers actually decide to go, more simple and no cap, some designers, the cap is everything for them. So I have one from, this is Dolce and Gabbana, and it is K. And see, on this one, it's a rather simple flacon, but the cap is a crown. Now it is not, it's plastic, so it's not super expensive or anything like that, but it is a crown, and that's kind of what, you know, they did in this one. That's Dolce & Gabbana's K. Now, if you decide that you like this fragrance profile, I personally would go with the EDP. To me, it's a little better than the EDT. Jean Paul Gaultier took it up another notch with his Scandal perfumes. He went and actually spent more money on the crown. It's also plastic, but it's even more than the Dolce & Gabbana. Jean Paul Gaultier, this is Scandal. I think Scandal came out 2021 for men. And the top on this one is sort of everything, right? It makes it stick out. And it is a rather sweet fragrance, definitely for, more on the youthful side. Now, for the females, what Jean Paul Gaultier did, which is also a little bit, on the kitschy side, but we expect that from Jean Paul Gaultier, is this is the Scandal for females. You see, we got the crown on one hand, and then we have the lady's leg upside down, and this is actually the top for Scandal, right? My wife does wear this one. I do like it on her. And that's Scandal. It's a nice fragrance. This is your eau de parfum, I believe, this one right here. But of course, Jean Paul Gaultier has always been known for having, lots of different kind of bottles. And who doesn't remember the bust of a man from La Malle? So this one right here is going to be the Le Parfum. It's the newest one, and it's also currently my favorite out of that line. Le Parfum is the one I wear if I decide to go with the scent profile of La Malle. This one is going to have, it's a bit less dated than the original one. It's going to have some vanilla, some iris, some cardamom, and it's kind of a little bit more spicy. I do enjoy wearing this one. It's sort of like the juvenile La Malle from the 90s, all grown up. It's Le Parfum for me. Now, Carolina Herrera also has gone into the direction of maybe a little bit, too much. Perhaps not. Some people like that sort of stuff. So Carolina Herrera, one of the newest ones, is Bad Boy for Men. This is my favorite out of that line. There's a couple of other ones. There's a golden one. And this is, I think, the Le Parfum as well. Is that what that is? Yep, the Le Parfum. This is my favorite one out of that line. And then you'll see it's a bolt. Okay. Now you have to like that scent profile. It's a little bit on the sweeter side. For the females, they came out with, so we have Bad Boy for the boys. And we have Good Girl for the girls. Yeah. I mean, look at this. It's actually quite a nice shoe. I do like the golden stiletto on the back. It does look quite nice on the shelf. And my wife does wear this one every now and then, not as often as she used to when it first came out. There's also many different iterations of this one. Both of these, I would go with the eau de parfum. I like the Good Girl eau de parfum, and I like the Bad Boy eau de parfum as well. Personally, I am more of a, as far as Carolina Herrera is concerned, I'm more of a classics guy. This is Carolina Herrera, the original one, and I'm just letting you know this. It's not really about the bottle. I have a big one here, but this is my original scent that I wore, I think, back in the 1991s. I really enjoyed this fragrance. It's a little bit more, it's a fresher take on fragrances. I like it. Another one that is quite popular nowadays is the Azzaro line. And Azzaro has Wanted, and I guess it's a play on, the old Western times, the revolvers and stuff like that. And this is Wanted. This is Wanted by Night. I believe the original Wanted has golden. These things right here are golden. So this is Wanted by Night. I like it just a tad bit better than I do the Wanted. I also have the Most Wanted, which is probably my favorite one out of these. I do wear them sort of interchangeably. However, I think this one's just a little bit deeper, and it's the newest one that came out of that. It's also, got the little revolver, but in this particular case, it's completely black. But actually, you would think that these could potentially smell like a barbershop, since it's kind of going back into the, revolver age or something like that. But no, I think their play on that is more about being dangerous because it is so good. as good as, you know, Danger Like a Revolver or perhaps or something like that. I'm not really sure. But as far as kitschiness is concerned, this one is actually pretty good. I do enjoy this bottle. It's not as bad, and it's actually quite well done with the Azzaro right here and the little detail in, you know, the bullets. It's quite nice. Azzaro, wanted and wanted by night, and most wanted. Another one of those that kind of surprised me when I first got it is one by Moschino. Moschino has a fragrance called Toy Boy. And it's this one right here. Now you would at first think this has got to be, you know, a sweet fragrance. It's got to be, you know, something for a kid because of the toy look, the bear. But actually it is not. It is a unique scent. Nothing smells like this on the market. And the more you wear this one, the more you kind of enjoy it. This is another one. If you spray this in a room, it will pretty much overpower everything else and stay for quite a while. It is really strong, has really good protection, and lasts all day long. It is sort of a take on celebrating the femininity in a man, you know, in a playful sort of way. It has 2 notes in there that are, you know, that make it kind of a little bit more different. We have Cashmeran, which is quite popular right now. And then we have something called Silcolide, and that's the one that's going to stick out mostly in this fragrance. This is a fragrance, like I said, most people wear it and they have to wear it a few times to kind of get used to it. And this fragrance, believe it or not, even though it is fresh, really shines in cold weather, cuts right through it, and works perfect if you like something fresher for when it's cooler outside. Definitely worth a second look, even though it's got kind of a little bit of a kitschy, you know, Moschino toy boy bear. The next one I have is not as kitschy. It is a little bit more sort of ingenuity. And it is, let me see where it's right here in front of me. I probably should have cleaned this glass first because it's very prone of fingerprints. And this is Cartier's Linval, right? In this particular one, I bought this because I really liked, I didn't even know what it smelled like when I bought it. I blind bought it, but I liked the way it was presented. So there's a little flacon inside of this very sort of tender glass, and somehow you can open this one up and twist it and then refill it with a new one. And the top just sort of opens like this, and then you can spray it, right? But it is a little bit, it's a little bit tender because it is real glass, but I love the way this one looked, and I just had to have it in my collection because I liked that is, and that's Linval by Cartier. And this one right here is from 2016. It's sort of a powdery iris, has a little bit of a woody, mossy backbone. It's quite beautiful, and I actually really enjoy wearing this one. It's very sort of soft. It's a beautiful fragrance from Cartier. Listen how gentle that is. Yeah, so you don't want to break it. I'm definitely never going to twist this out of there. This should last me quite a while. So you can tell that the fragrance world is really full of different kinds of bottles and flacons. And, you know, often the designer doesn't even know, not the fragrance designer, but the bottle designer has no idea what the fragrance is going to actually smell like. So it's quite difficult a lot of times, and vice versa, how they're going to work together. But I like it when it comes together, when the bottle itself looks like the fragrance could smell on the inside. I think it's a wonderful thing. Don't be discouraged by the way something looks. Do go ahead and give it a sniff and give it, you know, a wearing and see. Sometimes the fragrance bottle is perfect for how the fragrance smells on the inside. And it's beautiful when they come together. So don't be discouraged by the way something looks. Yeah, I hope you got something out of this. If you had fun, don't forget to leave a like. You know, maybe even subscribe for more fragrance content. I'm happy that you were here. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I will talk to you